it will be some sort of discriminatory development or deprivatory development. So I thought that let us share our views, and we are very much thankful to both of you, Shri S.S. Bhatt, the Managing Director of the Women Development Fund, and
develop in those areas where people will be benefited. One is on the decentralization. That is the first theme which I would like to just touch on. Then second one on the cleanliness. What we call cleanliness has to be there. Then on the sustainable environment, and also on the women's emancipation. As Friends of Women's World Banking, we are see interested and have been working in the women's emancipation space for the last 40 years, and we have seen considerable progress. In that way, I remember Mrs. Ela Ben Bhatt, who is the founder of SEWA, who has been the Gandhian right from the beginning and has advocated his principles and practiced his principles to bring rural development. Now, the SEWA movement has touched maybe about 2 million women across the India, and this practice has gone abroad also. The simple theory what she advocated on the women's emancipation was that be closer to the woman at the grassroots, develop grassroots organization. What are those requirements of the women? She also advocated 100 miles community, wherein within 100 miles, every facility required for that woman should be available. And she practiced that, and she has shown many places in the state of Gujarat wherein it could be developed. One is educating the women, bringing awareness among the women about their say facilities available to them, about their social customs, and also how they have to behave in the society in building their capacity to make them self-confident. That was one thing. Second thing is to make them self-reliant. How they will become self-reliant? Looking to the local resources, what is available locally, trying to them to introduce them to some livelihood activities for from which they will be able to get resources from the local base and trying to develop economic activities for themselves and earn their livelihood and contribute for the family income. I think that is one thing. The third thing was the health. Health is also most important for these women. Therefore, how we can create local health facilities. I think she has been fighting for the primary health centers in the villages and the panchayat headquarters, and also trying to see that these health facilities are up to date, manned with people. If the government people are not available, the group people, the women group people would be there to assist that. That is the third is on the education. How we can create education and facilitate these women to get educated in terms of primary education, in terms of see secondary education, and also the higher education. How she provided them opportunities to learn, and also she said that she sat with the women who are there and provided them a platform to learn many things. When in programs, when we see her going to the villages, talking to the women, actually she should act as a hero or heroine like that. But she will make the local women as heroines, make them to sit on the stage and empower them to speak about themselves and what is that is required for them. In that way, she has been able to emancipate the women to see that they think. The third thing is, or fourth thing is on the when they have these products local with the local resources, they make the products. No, then the marketing is also a very important thing. In that way, how the products made by them would be marketed and how they have to start the sustainable products. She used to give an example of broomsticks. Why the people in the rural areas use the grass broomsticks? It is a sustainable product, climate friendly product. You have the resources, you make them, the women will have the activity, they can earn from that. Then once it's the useful life is over, it can be fed as fodder, or also it can be thrown and burnt. That is how the recycling thing of the local producers and circular usage of these commodities also she advocated with that. Definitely, I think all these things Gandhiji also tried to make that yes, we need to adopt all these principles to make the women empowered and they are able to become the part of the mainstream economy and they are able to earn livelihoods. I think in that way, India has seen substantial progress in terms of emancipating the women through the uh, self-help group development program of NABARD, which was started in the year 1982, wherein the Reserve Bank of India gave permission for opening the groups accounts in the banks. In that way, the financial inclusion of women was also possible through the self-help group movement, which empowered the women to start their own activities, develop their own marketing structures, develop their own infrastructures in the local areas, and also to get knowledge from outside to see that how their activities could be done. That is one thing which we have seen. When we started in 1982, we were seeing only few groups. Now it is about 120 million women are really say helped with this movement. More than say about 12 crore of women households have been benefited of the self-help group program, which has been now taken up by Government of India under the NRLM program, which definitely helps in both the rural area development also and the women's development. I think that is one of the important areas which we have seen growth with this. With one is self-help group movement, the National Rural Livelihood Movement Program (NRLM), and also the microfinance program. Microfinance program, about 70 million women, about 7 crore of unique women households have been benefited from the financial inclusion side. In that way, close to about say 12 crore women there, here about 7 crores, about 20 crore of low income women have been able to get the benefit of this facility, which even Gandhiji thought that yes, women have to be capacitated, they should be given all the support to come in the mainstream. I think that is one of the greatest developments which I see as per the Gandhian philosophy, and that is a lot of things. Now, though this NRLM program has been there in India almost in all the 700 districts, but there is a variance in performance in many districts. I think that is where we need to focus. Which are the districts which are not doing well, and what are the drawbacks there, and how we can adopt this Gandhian principle of making the women empowered with different types of inputs. No, I think that is one work area to be done to see that it is not only geographical area which is important, it is all the regions have to get the benefits, and all the women across the country have to be benefited. I think that is one important thing which I feel that it is has shown progress, and his ideas have been definitely taken care, maybe in different terms, and women have been able to get the benefit, real benefit out of that in terms of either livelihood or entrepreneurship or statesmanship, or in as members of panchayat, as members of society, as members of leaders of communities, and also leaders in the society as a whole. Maybe as because of the panchayat members or panchayat presidents, they have been able to show their power, that they also have a voice and we can also contribute for the economy. I think that is one very important thing which I wanted to touch. Second one is on the decentralization. I think Gandhiji always said that grassroots level organizations have to be empowered for real development of the rural areas or the local areas. In terms of, I think government has done in that way, establishing gram panchayats and also municipalities, local municipalities, wherever town places are there. In that way, the devolution of funds from the central government to the state government to the panchayats is happening seamlessly now with the DBT and the technology development. And maybe the fund flow is not adequate to meet the developmental requirement because of this resource crunch, but it has started. That's a good thing. I think in that way, what he meant decentralization of developing the local organizations also has started, and it will get impetus once the even central government or state government give focus on that and see the activities. We see so many programs, even the central government programs or the state government programs, helping the decentralized organizations to one, exercise their power and see their utility in their local area and their regions, and also see the people getting the benefit out of that, maybe either in terms of roads or ponds or even other type of facilities in the their agricultural lands and all those things. I think decentralization also has been a very important idea of Gandhiji, which has, I think, has been taken very seriously in our country, and it has progressed over the years. Definitely, it is there. The third thing is, as I told, was on the cleanliness. I think we all know about the cleanliness, need for cleanliness, and also how cleanliness is very important in even in the rural areas also. That way, Bharat Abhiyan was one of the important things wherein people were advocated about the need for cleanliness, how to keep their surroundings clean, and what is the need for that, and all those things. So in that way, bringing cleanliness and having, say, a small affordable houses for the rural community, and even solar lamps or even the electricity schemes for the rural families, and providing toilets. See, as an organization, we have been able to provide loans for constructing toilets in different deep rural areas, so that women have a dignified life and the cleanliness and health and hygiene is maintained in those areas. I think that has been the second most accomplishment what India has achieved over the years in terms of constructing toilets, in terms of constructing drinking water facilities, in terms of constructing motorable roads with without much dust in the areas and all those things. So in that way, cleanliness is also one of the very important aspect which Gandhiji advocated for us. Then on the sustainable development, I think always he said that sustainable development is most important. In the, I think now we are realizing that what is the climate change, what we are talking now. Gandhiji was talking about the sustainable development. Yes, for our needs, the earth is there. For our greeds, it is not there. But humanity has been greedy enough to spoil or destroy the nature and try to now this we are seeing the ramifications of the climate change, increase in temperature by 1.5%, 1.5 degrees centigrade or 2 degrees centigrade, which is affecting both the crop production, the health of the humanity, and also even other. When we see a lot of floods, then drought, and many other see various vagaries of weather, no, lot of destruction of properties are there, lot of destruction of human lives are there. Now you see in Indonesia what's happening, in China what has happened, even in India we have seen. I think we have not taken that seriously right from the beginning, and definitely that has affected our this one. And now there is a realization that yes, even Gandhiji also wanted that this has to be done. I think this is one serious area which we need to focus now, because climate change is very important. We need to protect the nature. We need to see that what are the products which are biodegradable are used, and how we can reduce the climate risk mitigation by having adopting certain measures which are addressing the issues of climate change. I think in that way, sustainable development. In sustainable development, I think maybe the rural industries, khadi, and also the local artisans have definitely a role to play, and they have played a important role. And the present government is also giving a lot of focus and intent on that to develop that. definitely, I think sustainable development is one thing. The focus has given rise to the development both in socio-cultural activities of the local communities also. Even many of the women or even the local communities are realizing the importance of this having sustainable activities or activities which address the issues of these vagaries of monsoon. Now, seeing, see, reducing the exploitation of soil, maybe degradation of soil with the excessive use of chemical fertilizers and even the pesticides and other things, that people have realized that no, it is not sustainable. Therefore, we need to reduce the use of these chemical fertilizers and pesticides, which will definitely help the nature. Second thing is on over exploitation of water, because we see water guzzling crops like paddy, then sugarcane, and all those things. There is been a awareness now that yes, these things have to be, which are agriculture, which emanates maximum carbon, has to be addressed. Now that we see lot of millet missions coming, taking of alternate crops for paddy and sugarcane, and how we need to see that protect the soil and water. I think these are all some of the sustainable development things which are helping the rural community to protect the nature and go forward for the future generation. I think these are all some three or four things which I wanted to touch on that. And definitely, there has been progress over the last 75 years in terms of various aspects of his ideologies. Maybe there are certain people that, okay, Gandhian ideologies are not suitable for the present day environment. But when we see the intent of the ideas and also his thinking behind giving those things, no, really it has got relevance and we need to practice that. In many of our working, we need to practice his principles so that we are one having clean environment, sustainable activities, and also the people are respected in the society. That is how I think we need to create the his concept of Ramraj. Anyway, India is going to become a 5 trillion economy shortly, say maybe in the next 2 or 3 years. When we become, we need to keep in mind all these things. It is not just important to become a 5 trillion economy. How the per capita income, how the last mile person is able to derive out of this income is what Gandhiji worried, and that has to happen. I think with that, I will stop. Thank you, Dr. Narayanan, Professor Narayanan, for patiently listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhatt, who have very well defined and explained that India has developed in last 75 years, and Society for Empowerment is working with Gandhian vision for development in the rural India. Some parts of the country we have adopted, and there we are working with our own ideas that we try to share with all the people whoever comes with us. Main thing is that awareness about the health and awareness about the